Hello everyone, we're going to do chapter 3, which is the safety practices of metallurgy. When it comes to this chapter, it's very easy to understand it because it kind of goes over things that we've known for years. Safety means not causing harm to yourself and others. Single most important safety is to be aware of your surroundings and alert to most likely hazards. Uh, when it comes to the welding shop and stuff like that, if you see water on the floor, you don't weld on top of it. If you're going to use a grinder, have your face shield and safety glasses and your earplugs in. If you're around somebody who's using a torch, don't stand like right next to them while they're using the flame, stuff like that. And it all kind of goes back to every field you're going to be in. Just know your surroundings and keep an ear out and an eye out for stuff that happens. A century ago, there was no universal safety rules for workers. And it was actually pretty bad. There was a reason why unions started coming up and OSHA became a thing because the death rate was so high for anybody in the industrial field that, like right here, it said people didn't live past 40 years old of age. There was exceeding, 375 workers per 100,000 would die in the steel, coal, or railroad industry. So, it was very high. In 1970, OSHA, the Occupation for Safety and Health Administration, was passed. And since then, it has dropped down from 375 to just 3 workers nationwide. So it has dropped significantly once OSHA became a thing. And you have to think, that's 1970. And that might be saying something that it's only 2020, but it's been 50 years. And, some of us, myself included, I was born in 1990, so only 20 years for the true OSHA organization to come out. So now we look at fire safety, and we have NFPA, or the National Fire Protection Association. And a lot of these things are set up to help prevent deaths and injuries and stuff like that. And the worst part to think about is for every rule or law or organization or association or something like that that's come out, somebody has died for it. So just remember that for every injury out there or every rule that we place out there, somebody has seriously gotten hurt because of it. Kind of going over our normal safety, we have the different type of fire extinguishers, class A, B, C, D, and K. A is for your ordinary combustibles, B for flammable liquid, C electrical equipment, D for combustible metals, and then 4K is kitchen fires, like when your oil starts to go off and stuff like that. Fire extinguishers have the different colors. The most common is A and B. D is used for metal fires like magnesium. Safety in manufacturing, safety is production, always requires some safe and properly installed equipment. You have to make sure you have it. Even in the welding shop, we have fire extinguishers around the place, and we have stuff for if you catch on fire, if you get something in your eye, we have stuff for that. And this is stuff that happens in the manufacturing field, it happens in a construction site and stuff like that. There's equipment everywhere. One of the best things to remember is that horseplay should never happen. Sure, everybody cracks a joke or we play around and stuff like that, but true horseplay can get people really hurt. So try your best not to do it, and if you're going to do it somewhere where you're not going to get hurt. So these are very important things. Next, let's go to our equipment. We all know about PPE, the personal protective equipment, safety glasses, safety shoes, hard hats, breathing filters if you need them, hearing protection. Safety glasses are the most required PPE. In all fields, if you go out there, one of the number one things you have to have is a type of safety glass. The American National Standards Institute, or the ANSI Z9 7.1 standard, this is what your safety glasses have to meet to be registered under that. it also promotes and safeguards industrial standards. I mean, this is stuff that we do all the time, and you need to follow them very carefully. Uh, if you see over here in this picture, they are wearing equipment because they are around liquid metal at this moment. And not just like when we're welding and we have a small puddle of liquid metal. No, this is a giant container that's thousands upon thousands of degrees hot, and just being around it without this protective gear could just burn their skin off. Foundry workers must have additional protective equipment, leggings, aluminized reflective coats, that's what this is, or completely reflective suits, gloves, tongs for handling hot metal, breathing mask or respiratory system, and also hearing protection. Working around machinery, you're going to have your yellow lines, guardrails, safety shields, sensors for getting too close, switches that require both hands. And right there in the middle, you see the emergency stop where you just hit it and everything dies in case something happens. When it comes to stuff like working on a metal stamping press, jog ram to open position, shut power down and lock power switch, put in blocks to prevent RAM from coming down, and make necessary adjustments. This is just for stamping metal. And when they're talking about putting blocks in to prevent the RAM from coming down, it's kind of like a giant piston that goes up and down and stuff like that, and it makes the actual press. But while the machine is up and it's holding it up, if for whatever reason it lets go, that RAM will just fall. And if you're under it, it's thousands of pounds and it will not care about you. So you have to put the blocks in it. This is stuff you have to think about. Another way to think of it is if you've ever worked on a car, or somebody's worked a car and they had to get under it, they put it up and then they put bricks or blocks behind the back tire so it doesn't roll away. It's the same concept. You're just trying to prevent anything that could happen. And then we have the safety data sheet, or its old name, which was material safety data sheet. The SDS or MDSDS is always required. Like, that is a rule on the thing, is that it is required by OSHA and that everybody has the right to it. It provides the manufacturers, distributors, and importers what the potential dangers are and what your precautions are. And if something happens, what you're supposed to do. And like I said, it is by law posted and available to all employees. I don't know why "or" is here. It is available. So if you have a question when you're on the job site about something, you ask for the safety data sheet, it is available to you by law. Hazardous metal, hot metal between 200 to 500 does not glow. So 200 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit or 90 Celsius to 480 Celsius just looks like cold metal. And if you were to touch 900 degree metal to your bare skin, it will just burn it instantly. So this is also why we tell you, wear gloves almost at all times. You don't know something's hot sometimes until you touch it, and then it's too late. These little strips right here from probably like making a drill or stripping the metal or something like that, this is extremely sharp and will cut you open easily. I've worked in a manufacturing shop where we worked with a lot of aluminum, and we were working with CNC machines. And when they were done, those aluminum sides were so sharp that even though we were wearing cut-resistant gloves, sometimes it would almost cut through them, and it was like working with glass. So you got to be careful with metal. There's a reason why we make knives and stuff like that out of metal. Labs have several different safety concerns. What type of etchings you're using on it. There's corrosive chemicals like hydrofluoric acid, which is highly corrosive to the human skin, will just melt it away. So they have to have a treatment kit. Lab technicians must be trained in these type of safety concerns, because there's a lot of stuff when doing metallurgy that could be very dangerous to the human body. And then, the effects of accidents on the job. A long time accidents require more than just a minor first aid. You might not be able to return to work due to the injury, you could be crippled for the rest of your life. Um, the accidents must be recorded, so there's a lot of paperwork that goes involved, and they have to then investigate and make sure that everybody now understands. So for the company, it costs them thousands of dollars, and for you, it might cost you your life. So it's very important that you follow all the safety procedures, and nobody wants to get hurt, because what's the point? You know, everybody talks about, oh, well, you'll make a lot of money if you get hurt on the job, blah, 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 blah. Well, if they can find a reason to blame it on you, you get nothing. So if you really want to make that risk, go for it. But if they have a reason to say that it was your fault, you will get nothing and you will be hurt for the rest of your life. So just do your best to be as safe as possible. Thank you.